like having a set of permanent handcuffs on you, and you can only go so far.
When you're on the streets and your priority is drugs before food, but you're starving, and people can just look at you and know, it's really hard.
The Valley is suffering one of the worst drug epidemics ever. It's ripping families apart, destroying lives with every hit of heroin.
Here's me and my mom, and she's supported me. She's the only one that's really actually supported me and stuck by my side.
Ryan just got off work. He's a crane operator. We met him at this pop-up needle exchange in a vacant parking lot in the East Valley. He shoots up heroin 5 to 6 times a day.
You don't want to struggle. You don't want to fight. You want to go the easy route. That's just how it works.
And every time I quit and it got started again, it was like I picked up right where I left off, if not a little bit lower.
Megan is a Valley mother hooked on heroin. She was out of needles and showed up looking to get clean supplies. You'd never expect Ryan or Megan to be heroin addicts. So how did they end up here?
It started with an injury. I had a shoulder injury at my job I was at for 7 years. I was on prescription pain meds for almost 5 to 6 years.
I had been using prescription pain pills for, I know it's the story that everybody has.
Prescription pain pills. Every person we spoke to at this needle exchange says it all started with pain meds, and it didn't take long for Megan's life to unravel.
For about a year, I was abusing my prescription pain pills, snorting them, running out, and it was a lot easier to sell them and buy heroin, but I was a preschool teacher. I taught for 12 years. I can no longer teach now.
Megan also lost custody of her only son. It's the dark reality for so many of the people here in this line looking for clean needles. Shot in the Dark is a nonprofit. Their mission to keep these addicts alive. They provide users with clean needles, tourniquets, and life-saving Narcan. But this group of volunteers, they know how important clean needles are to stopping the spread of HIV, Hep C, and other diseases.
I am one of those people that has Hep C, and I thankfully found out, but having something like Shot in the Dark is that hope that we can prevent spreading that to every other person. That picture is our first Halloween together.
Megan and her fiance shared a deep love for each other. They also shared a love for heroin.
I don't have a lot of pictures because when you're using, you're not taking a whole lot of pictures, or you're going through phones, losing them everywhere, losing all your memories.
But with little access to clean needles, Megan and her fiance would often reuse their drug supplies.
My fiance just passed away December 12th, and he passed away of endocarditis. And that's also something that this really, really helps with.
In roughly 1 hour, we witnessed 93 people show up for clean supplies. This very simple demographics tracking survey conducted on-site shows out of those 93 heroin addicts, only 2 were homeless. The majority of addicts were white women under the age of 40.
There's still more white males and females than any other. And that is not something that would have been true maybe 20 or 30 years ago.
Which George says proves the heroin crisis is growing at an alarming rate, with the highly addictive drug injecting itself into the middle and upper class neighborhoods.
It's no longer this backstreet kind of alleyway drug. This is something that's affecting people in Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, and it's affecting a lot of the young youth that it wouldn't normally have affected, which is the white youth.
That was me on stage in St. Louis at Foo Bar. We were playing with Fit for a King that night. That was one of the greatest shows we ever played.
Ryan admits when he first started using, there were lots of good times, but he never thought pain pills would lead to where he is now, constantly looking for his next fix. The hardest part about all of this is telling the person he loves the most, his own mother, that he's shooting heroin again.
I'm gonna tell her the whole story. She deserves to know. The people that care deserves to know.